Welcome back to the Glory of God and Kings, reading the Bible for the first time again. I'm your host, Travis, and we are looking at Genesis chapter 1 in this episode. Going to be trying to take some of the things that we have heard up to this point and bring them into the text and see where we can go with that. So we're just going to start and we'll just jump in. I don't want to delay any longer. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. The earth was formless and void, and darkness was over the surface of the deep, and the Spirit of God was moving over the surface of the waters. Then God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. God saw the light was good, and God separated the light from the darkness. God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. And there was evening and there was morning, day one. Then God said, "Let there be an expanse in the midst of the waters, and let it separate the waters from the waters." Excuse me. God made the firmament or expanse and separated the waters which were below the expanse from the waters which were above the expanse. And it was so. God called the firmament or expanse heaven. And there was evening and there was morning, day two. Then God said, "Let the waters below the heavens be gathered into one place, and let the dry land appear." And it was so. God called the dry land, land. And the gathering of the waters he called seas, and God saw that it was good. Then God said, "Let the land sprout vegetation, plants yielding seed, fruit trees with the earth bearing fruit after their kind with seed in them." And it was so. The earth brought forth vegetation, plants yielding seed after their kind, and trees bearing fruit with seed in them after their kind. And God saw that it was good. There was evening and there was morning, day three. Then God said, "Let there be lights in the expanse of the heavens, to separate the day from the night, and let them be for signs, and for festivals, and for days, and for years. And let them be for lights in the expanse of the heavens to give light to the earth," or the land. And it was so. God made the two great lights, the greater light to govern the day, and the lesser light to govern the night, the stars also. God placed them in the firmament or expanse of the heavens to give light on the land, and to govern the day and the night, and to separate the light from the darkness. And God saw that it was good. There was evening, there was morning, day four. Then God said, "Let the waters teem with swarms of living creatures, and let birds fly above the land in the open expanse of the heavens." God created the great sea monsters and every living creature that moves, with which the waters swarmed after their kind, and every winged bird after its kind. And God saw that it was good. God blessed them, saying, "Be fruitful and multiply. Fill the waters in the seas, and let the birds multiply on the land." There was evening and there was morning, a fifth day. There I go. I was reading the scriptures, right? Day five. Then God said, "Let the land bring forth living creatures after their kind, cattle and creeping things, and beasts of the earth after their kind." And it was so. God made the beasts of the earth after their kind, and the cattle after their kind, and everything that creeps on the ground after its kind. And God saw that it was good. Then God said, "Let us make man in our image, according to our likeness, and let them rule over the fish of the sea, and over the birds of the sky, and over the cattle, and over all the cattle, and over all the land, and over every creeping thing that creeps on the land." God created man in his own image. In the image of God he created him. Male and female he created them. God blessed them, and God said to them, "Be fruitful and multiply and fill the earth and subdue it, and rule over the fish of the sea, and over the birds of the sky, and over everything that moves on the land." Then God said, "Behold, I have given you every plant yielding seed that is on the surface of all the land, and every tree which has fruit yielding seed, and it shall be food for you. And to every beast of the earth, and to every bird of the sky, and to everything that moves on the land which has life, every green plant for food." And it was so. God saw all that he had made, and behold, it was very good. And there was evening, and there was morning, day 6. Thus the heavens and the earth were completed, and all their hosts. By day 7, God completed his work which he had done, and he rested on day 7 from all of his work which he had done. Then God blessed day 7 and sanctified it, because in it he rested from all of his work which God had created and made. These are the generations of the heavens and the earth when they were created, in the day that Yahweh God made earth and heaven. Okay, so there's a lot. I mean, we could just, we could have episode after episode to talk about this. What are some things that you think of when you read this? What are some things that stand out to you? That would be interesting to see your comments on that. Don't forget to subscribe, okay? So one thing I want to try to flesh out for you, okay, is we're looking at the material that's given to us right now on the surface, and so we can see and understand the words that are given to us. I want to suggest that we have to squint. I want to suggest that it's not simply nuda fabula. It's not simply naked facts. Okay, this is not just an historical account for us to understand how this physical universe was created in 6 days. I want to say that we need to look deeper. The text tells us certain things, and so I want us to say, okay, that's what it says, but what does it mean? Here is something I want you to think about, okay? Listen to what happens with the temptation of Adam and Eve, okay? Listen to what happens with the temptation with Adam and Eve. The serpent tempts Eve. When the woman saw that the tree was good for food, and that it was a delight to the eyes, and that the tree was desirable to make one wise, she took from its fruit and ate, and she gave to her husband with her, and he ate. Okay? Now, we have to think outside the box on this. But I want you to think about the language here of what you see Eve doing during the temptation. Eve saw that the tree was good, and so she took. Seeing, passing judgment, and then acting. Okay? Seeing, passing judgment, and then acting. See, good, action. All right, let's go back to Genesis chapter 1. God saw that the light was good, and God separated. God saw that the dry land appeared and that it was good. Skipping around, now I can't find everything I want to see. The sun, the moon, and the stars. God saw that it was good. God saw that it was good. Okay? I want to suggest that's a pattern. Not only do we see simply that God creates and then God sees what he creates, but that is a theological pattern that we need to pay attention to. God saw, he rendered judgment, and then he acted based on that. Seeing, judging, acting. Okay? Let's go to Genesis chapter 6. Now it came about, when men began to multiply on the face of the land, and daughters were born to them, the sons of God saw that the daughters of men were beautiful, and they took them. There's a pattern here. Eve saw, she determined, she took. The sons of God saw, they determined they were beautiful, and they took. These are patterns. God the story of God's creating in Genesis doesn't just tell us that he created all things, but it gives us theology that we are going to see later on in other stories, that if we don't understand its connection to the beginning, we're not going to make those connections. Not only that, but we're not going to be able to make the contrasting assessments that are needed for us to do those things. Okay? So that's a lot to chew on, I think. Um, this isn't all of, I'm not giving you the entire answer. I don't even have the entire answer. What I'm saying is, I think it's something for us to think about. So I would love, please, I'm begging you, subscribe, make comments. Let's turn this into an interesting dialogue, okay? For the glory of God and Kings reading the Bible for the first time, again, I am your host, Travis. Till next time.